730 in California and Open Door Brokerage LLC in its other markets.
Bankruptcy? Get your bankruptcy here. You, ma'am, you look like you've got a ton of debt. Well, step on up. I've got your bankruptcy for you right here.
Leave me alone. I don't want to file bankruptcy.
But you've got debt, right? Practically everyone in Las Vegas has $10,000 or more in credit card debt. That means you should file bankruptcy. It's the only thing I sell here, so it must be your only option.
No, it's not. I already went to Panda.
You what? Why did you?
I went to Panda. They told me about all my options. We talked about bankruptcy, but for me, that wasn't the best option. In fact, here's the Panda now.
Not Panda.
Thanks, Panda.
If you've got debt, make sure you call a full-service debt relief law firm, not an attorney that only sells bankruptcy.
Call Panda. We'll sit down with you and discuss your options for getting out of debt, including bankruptcy and debt settlement. Then we'll work to pick the best plan for you.
Are you working from home? Do you also like yelling at technology? You're in luck. Tell your smart speaker to put on ESPN Las Vegas and listen from anywhere in the house. Hit us up on Twitter at ESPN Las Vegas.
This is SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Here's Jim Basquill.
And ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. In short, a lot of things bundled today at Progressive.com.
Half-hour headlines on SportsCenter all night.
Again, our top stories. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell takes the stand, asked about Daniel Snyder. The Open Championship will allow live golf players to play their major. Austin Hayes turns in a cycle for the O's, while the Avs now have the two-time defending champs on the edge of elimination.
Quickly ahead, Nazem Kadri inside the circle. Kadri! Where's the puck? How did that not go in?
It did. It did go in.
It did?
It did.
It did! He scores! Nazem Kadri! The Kadri man can! I didn't see it, but they did!
Altitude 92.5. Nazem Kadri, first game back, scored an OT. Avalanche passed the Lightning 3-2, move within a victory of dethroning those two-time defending champs, playing for the first time since June 4th with that thumb injury. He skated in on Andrei Vasilevsky and slipped the shot under his right arm to give the Avs the 3-1 series lead. John Cooper, though, Tampa Bay head coach, says it should not have counted.
This one's going to sting much more than others just because I think it was taken on. It was potential. I don't know. It's hard for me. This is going to be hard for me to speak. I'm going to have to speak. I'll speak with you tomorrow. You're going to see what I mean when you see the winning goal. And my heart breaks for the players because we probably still should be playing. I'll be available tomorrow.
And Cooper saying there's an extra skater on the ice for the Avs when the game winner was scored. Game 5 is Friday night in Denver. Keep this in mind. Teams with a 3-1 series lead in Stanley Cup final history are 35-1. The only team to rally from a 3-1 deficit to win the 1942 Toronto Maple Leafs. Nate McKinnon, who scored his first of the series in this game, on how the Avs close out the two-time defending champs.
Well, it starts with blocking out all the BS that goes along with it. Yeah.
I get it.
Keep it G-rated. I just think, obviously family, friends are in town. We know what's going to be in the building, but we have to stick with what got us to this point. That's our great process, and we put that before anything, and we feel like the result will get done. So nothing changes. We have to stick to our game plan that we've been doing all season. I know it's cliche, but it's true. And we need to forget about this win and get ready for Friday night. And obviously it's a big importance, but we're feeling good. We're going to be coming attacking and aggressive and hopefully get that win.
Yeah, a couple other NHL notes. Paul Maurice will be the next head coach of the Florida Panthers. He is a 4th all-time in games coached, 7th all-time in coaching wins, most recently in Winnipeg, where he stepped down in December. Blackhawks have promoted Megan Hunter as assistant GM. She is the 4th woman to be named as an assistant GM in league history. This is SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. I'm Jim Basquill from the NBA. Pistons trading Jeremy Grant to the Trailblazers. Biggest part of the return, first-round pick in the 2025 draft. draft. Detroit gets the 36th pick in the coming draft later on tonight. That would have been Milwaukee's first-round pick, by the way, in 2025. Pistons now have $43 million in salary cap space to spend in free agency.
He thinks that he deserves a 4-year extension, fully loaded.
This is not a Knicks putting it out there. This is not the Lakers putting it out there. This is off the player who thinks he's got leverage. And I'm here to tell you, he doesn't.
Talk about delusional. I mean, that's this dude. Listen to this Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, so how will the Nets' Kyrie Irving contract standoff end? How about a level-headed approach? Brian Windhorst on NBA Today.
His opportunity to go to another team really doesn't have a lot of teeth in it because of the lack of salary cap space out there. So if he is really threatening, then he would have to opt out and, at least give the impression he was willing to leave $36 million on the table and take a $25 to $30 million pay cut to go elsewhere. It's not a likely scenario, which is why the Nets feel more comfortable playing hardball. That's road one. Road two is what Woj described, which is the threat of Kevin Durant's reaction if Kyrie Irving left the team for nothing in return, which would significantly knock down the overall Nets' chances of winning a championship next year. Those scenarios are both relatively aggressive, which is why right now this feels a lot like saber rattling on both sides.
Yeah, perhaps that seems like a logical.
And local officials use EAS to keep you informed in the event of an emergency or disaster through your local radio and TV.
That'll
Provide information in a crisis. This concludes today's test of the emergency alert system.
with the Nets. And so those are the conversations that'll have to happen. But for Brooklyn right now, they're really navigating two fronts. One is trying to stay disciplined in their mind on a Kyrie Irving extension. Clearly, Brooklyn has been hesitant to do a long-term deal with Irving, but they also run the risk of alienating Kevin Durant and perhaps unfastening him from his commitment to wanting to be in Brooklyn if Kyrie Irving were to leave. In a perfect world, the Nets find a way to do a deal that still gives them some leverage to get Kyrie Irving on the court next season. But certainly, if he's willing to take significantly less money, he could walk, he could sign perhaps that $6 million exemption with the Lakers.
Yeah, that's KD's lone flaw right there, right? His blind spot for Kyrie, no question about it. Warriors GM Bob Myers says the goal is to bring everyone back for a title defense. Golden State already better than $26 million over the tax. Their goal, his hope, is to bring all the guys back and to do it again. Among those key free agents, Kevon Looney, Otto Porter Jr., and Gary Payton II. Jay Williams on what they need to do.
Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole, these guys, their contracts are up in a year. You figure out a way to extend it. The one thing that Joe Lacob has always said, he's the owner of the Golden State Warriors, they don't care about going way, way over the luxury tax. Like, I've heard their GM talk about this multiple times, where he said, hey, we got certain contracts that are up. I went to Joe Lacob and said, okay, these guys are up. Well, what do you want us to do? Do we want to retool? How do we want to fit into a budget? And they've been on the record stating, no, you run it back. So my thing is, they're going to go over the luxury tax. They don't care. The amount of revenue they made this year alone off the Chase Center, their new arena, is like $100 million, right? So if you have that type of money, you bring everybody back and you do it the same way next year.
Yeah, good for them.